Among the language minority groups protected under the Voting Rights Act, you won't find voters like Shaima Mohammed. In 1975, Congress expanded that landmark civil rights law to try to get rid of barriers preventing citizens of language minorities from voting. And for close to half a century, Section 203 of the Voting Rights Act has required certain states and local governments to provide voting ballots, registration forms and other election materials in more than just English. But not all languages are covered by Section 203's protections. And that has often left Arabic-speaking U.S. citizens with limited proficiency in English, like Mohammed, on their own when trying to vote. In 2020, she wanted to cast a ballot in the presidential election and turned to a neighbor and a cousin for help. Some of the people, they don't have at home someone to translate, says Mohammed, who grew up in Yemen and has taken English classes at the Arab Community Center for Economic and Social. Exactly where the federal government requires multilingual election information is determined by the Census Bureau, which uses complicated formulas involving English proficiency and educational attainment rates to produce an updated list every 5 years. The latest list, released in December, shows that the federal mandate for American Indian language assistance has reached 5 additional states and coverage for Spanish was added to Ohio's Cuyahoga County. There's also growth in the areas required to help voters in Bangladeshi, Chinese, Filipino, Hmong, and Vietnamese. With Arabic, Haitian Creole and other languages that are not protected by Section 203 becoming more common among U.S. households, some voting rights advocates have been calling for the federal government to expand its requirements for multilingual election information. Information is power, right? We need to continue fighting for having more languages included in the electoral process as well. This is something that we need to see in order to see inclusiveness in all levels and with all demographics. According to Section 203, the protected language minority groups are limited to persons who are American Indian, Asian American, Alaskan Natives or of Spanish heritage. The Census Bureau are. And those standards officially categorize people with origins in the Middle East or North Africa as white. Some scholars classify Arabic as an Afro-Asiatic language group, but the Bureau does not, categorizing it not among Asian languages, but all other languages.